Welcome to the series of videos on the Chartered Financial Analyst CFA Level 1 course. As usual, I provide an introductory slide about my qualification and experience. Today we will continue the topic of corporate finance and equity, and this is the video number 3. In the video number 1 and 2, we started our corporate governance topic. Today we will finish this topic so that we can move on to the next topic. The first item today we have is the composition of the board of directors as one of the mechanisms through which a company tries to manage the stakeholder interests. As we mentioned earlier, that the stakeholders have different interests and these interests are normally conflicting. The role of the board of directors is to instigate a clear corporate governance system that preserves the interests of all the stakeholders. That is the primary role, and the board also is a link between the shareholders, who are the owner of the company, and the senior managers who actually run the business. The good system of corporate governance requires that the board should consist of diverse expertise. Some of them should be expert in the industry in which the company operates. If it is in the financial sector, they should brought in members who have very good experience in the financial sector, or if it is in the real estate sector, also they should have expertise in that sector as well. Also, the board should consist of two types of directors. One is the non-executive and the one is executive director. Executive directors are part of the team who actually deliver and take decision. The purpose of having non-executive directors who are not involved on the real decision making is to challenge these decisions because they are independent of it. You can't have a board member who actually took the decision and represent the board or the shareholders in trying to challenge this decision by management. So we should have executive and non-executive who are independent. Also, the board could have the chief executive officer who is also the chairman of the board. This is called chief executive officer duality. That means the chair of the board is also the chief executive officer. And this is some type of weakness. And some countries prohibit such duality between the two functions. These are the function and responsibility of the board. Mainly is to protect or to consider the interests of all stakeholders, not only the shareholders. The board also is responsible to cater for the needs of all stakeholders, whether it be employees, customers, suppliers, government bodies, or regulatory bodies. And they are expected also to do their job in a loyal way, and they have a duty of care to all the stakeholders, not only the just holder. To do this, the board form committees. Each committee will be assigned certain part of the business, and these committees' role is to provide recommendation to the board. The first committee is very common to everyone, is the audit committee. Look after the board of the work of the Department of Internal Audit. They also appoint the external auditor or at least provide recommendation to the board on the remuneration of the external audit. Governance committee, that is a committee that looks after the corporate governance, ensure that the corporate governance are being adhered to by management. Also, there is a committee about remuneration and compensation to the board and to senior management so that they provide fair compensation. These compensation should not be at the detriment of any stakeholder. They should strike the right balance between rewarding management fairly and at the same time not jeopardize the stake of other holders. Also, they nominate nomination committee that nominate the CEO or senior management in different position. Risk committee, definitely. This is a topic of risk management. We will come to this later during subsequent videos in more detail. Investment committee, also they will not allow the senior management to invest direct. They have to provide major investment opportunity with a good argument for the decision to go ahead with the investment. This should be presented to a committee. That committee will look at the stake of different stakeholders and to see whether such investments are risky or might jeopardize the position of other stakeholders, like, for example, the lenders. Those who lend money to the companies should not be prejudiced by taking very high risk investment that might render their interest in a weak position. There is some factors that affect the stakeholder relationship and the corporate governance. So the corporate governance, as I said several times, that it should try to maintain or preserve the interest of different stakeholders. The first one is market factors. These market factors include shareholders' engagement. What is meant by shareholder engagement is the annual general meeting where the shareholder actually engage in a way with the affair of the company because they are the owner. Also, there is something called earning calls. Each quarter, the company issued financial statement and they present these results on a telephone conference call. It is called earning calls, where the shareholder can engage with senior management to see how the business is doing, to ask questions and seek clarification. Also, there is a topic of shareholder activism. These are all market factors. Let us not forget that. These shareholders, they are very active in trying to pursue companies to act or to compel companies to act in a certain manner, which is normally in their opinion, the shareholder will be to the benefit of the company. There is also in a takeover, if the company is subjected to takeover by another company, there is something called proxy contest. This is where the shareholders are persuaded to vote for a group of shareholders who's trying to take control of the company and take control of the company to direct the company in a certain manner if they think that the current management is not behaving or taking the right decision. The hostile takeover, this is a terminology used when another company, they call it predator, try to take over the company, but the senior management always advise, or in such case of hostile takeover, this will be against the wish of the management. That is, the management is not approving this hostile takeover because of many reasons. Maybe that they see the offer price is very low. So this is called hostile takeover. Okay, as we have market factor, we have also non-market factors such as the legal environment, whether the legal environment is in a good shape and that compliance is also available. Laws are protecting the stakeholder. The media, what we mean by the media as a non-market factor. We mean its ability or the ability of the media to spread information quickly and shape the public opinion. For example, if the media is free to disseminate information about the company and shape the public opinion about the behavior of management, then we will have a very strong media. Also, media influence politicians and regulators to take certain measure, either in favor of the company or in favor of having a very good corporate governance. But there is some risk and benefit with respect to corporate governance. We first cover the topic of risk. What are the risks of weak corporate governance? First of all, the first risk is the weak control system. If the corporate governance is weak, we will have a very weak control system that manifests itself in poor audit procedure, or we have insufficient scrutiny from the board of directors. Almost the board will be absent, is non-active. For example, also, it might lead to one stakeholder to benefit at the expense of other stakeholders if we don't have a very strong system of internal control, of corporate governance. There is also, this will lead to ineffective decision making, definitely, if the board is absent, if the board is inactive, if one stakeholder is strong and corporate governance is not in place to protect weak stakeholders, then the decision making will be ineffective. It will benefit certain group at the expense of another group. When it comes to regulation and legal system, there is also reputation risk, because there will be weak compliance with these regulation and laws. The company will not be aware of certain regulation or laws. Then they will break that law, and there will be a problem with the compliance with these laws in implementing these laws. There will be lack of proper reporting. There is not sufficient reporting so that the management knows what is happening. Definitely there will be the very high risk of going bankrupt, because there will be weak management of creditors. The company is not looking after its debt, and when they come to you, and which also will affect the company's financial position, and it may hinder the ability of the company to honor its obligation towards creditors or lenders. Okay, these are the risks, and what are the benefits of having a very strong corporate governance? We will have operational efficiency. Definitely, the operation will go smooth. Responsibilities are assigned in a very clear manner. Organization clarifies all the delegation of responsibility, who is responsible of what, who is authorized to do what, and at what level will be very crystal clear. Reporting line also is very clear to everyone, who report to whom, where the document should go, who approve certain transaction, where is the decision. There is clear demarcation of responsibilities between different companies, departments. We will have also improved control. Definitely, if the corporate governance practice is strong, it always seek to instead more effective control will be exercised at all corporate level, because the higher level and the lower level are all connected together, and there will be a very sound system of internal control. That both of them, number 1 and 2, will result in better financial performance, profitability, and efficiency and cost saving. Definitely, we spoke just now about the risk of default, because we are not managing our debt and regulation towards third party in a better manner. Then there will be a default risk. We might default in our debt. This is the first and the fourth most important, in my opinion, benefit of the corporate governance. If the corporate governance is strong, and the report about the corporate governance to the public, to the market, shows from independent auditor or from independent authority that certified a very good corporate governance for this company, then any information disseminated to the market by the management will be very reliable, and this information will lower the information risk, and hence the cost of debt will be very low. If lender knows that the company is well run, have a very sound and very strong corporate governance, they will be willing to lend money at a very cheap price. This will lower the cost of debt, which will create value. If you see my video, the first video, it says that if you lower the cost of debt and cost of capital, then the value of the company will go up. This is very crucial point and benefit of the very strong corporate governance. Now, let us see some example of practice question. The most important in answering this question, not to know the answer, to know why the answer was chosen among the other equally or maybe also right answer. It's not all about right and wrong. It is about how to select the best answer. Now, this is a corporate governance. The answer number one is a corporate governance complies with a set global standard. I think this is wrong because there is no consensus agreement between countries about the standard. There are different standards, so this is definitely wrong. B is independent of both shareholder theory and stakeholder theory. Let us see whether this is right or wrong. Let us go to C. C, to minimize and manage conflicting interests between insiders and outsiders or external shareholders. Is it independent of shareholder theory and stakeholder theory, as I discussed in the second video, video number 2? No. Because from these two theories, we created the corporate governance to look after the stakeholder. So it is not independent. It is part of these two theories. So it seeks to minimize the conflicting interests. This is very crucial in corporate governance, not to answer the question, but to understand the whole concept. The very purpose of corporate governance is to manage the conflicting interests. We have interests of different stakeholders. We need to manage it in a manner to be fair to everyone. That is simple idea of the corporate governance. So the answer is definitely C. Let us see another question. Which group of company stakeholder would be least, be careful about this word, affected? That means what comes next is effect for weak financial position. All of them will be affected, but which one is the least? That is very important. Now, suppose the company have a very financial position, weak financial position. Which one of these will suffer? Supplier will suffer definitely because they are not going to get paid in time. They might lose the whole money the company owe to them. Customer will suffer also. They will lose the product they are buying from the company at a reasonable price. They will suffer. Manager and employee, definitely, if the company went bankrupt, they are going to lose their position, or they get lower salary because now the financial position is weak. So it seems that the customer are the least affected because they can go elsewhere and buy the product. So the answer is definitely the customer. Let us see another question. Which of the following represent a principal agent conflict? In video number 2, we explain what is meant by principal and agent. We said principal is the shareholder, agent are the management or the managers. So which of what is going to come in ABC is a conflict between two groups, the shareholders and management. It is not about shareholder and customer. It's not about management and creditor. It is, this question here is specific. There is a conflict between shareholder and management. Which one of these? Risk tolerance. There might be differences between both. Management might take very high risk to gain very high profit and get very fat salary. But shareholders might not accept very high risk, because high risk means lower value of their company. Definitely there is a conflict here, but let us see the other question, the answer. Maybe we will find another more appropriate one. Multiple share classes, class A, class B. Certain classes have more power, voting rights than the other. This is a conflict among shareholders themselves. Management has nothing to do with share classes, because this is between shareholders. So this is wrong answer. C, accounting and reporting practices. There is no conflict. If management manipulate the figure to show very high profit, also this will be in the best interest in shareholders. But this is not advisable. It's not the real question. This is something else. It is wrong, but it is not in the context of principal agent conflicts. So definitely the risk is, the answer is A. The tolerance is different. We can tolerate very low risk as shareholder so that our company value go up. Management can tolerate very high risk to get very high return and high profit to get their compensation. So this is a clear conflict of interest between shareholders and management, which is a risk. Let us see question number 4. Which of the following issues discussed at a shareholder general meeting? Shareholders meet annually, general meeting, not extraordinary meeting, the normal meeting, would most likely require only simple majority. We know that in the AGM, annual general meeting, we will have majority. Simple majority means 51% or 2/3, 67%. So which one require only 51? To answer this question, normally only major decision, huge, big decision, require 2/3 of the shareholder. The simple majority is simple matter, routine matter. So voting on a merger, our company is going to merge with another company. This is a big decision, cannot be simple majority 51. Election of the board of directors. Yes, it is a good, important decision to appoint board of directors. Amendment of bylaws. Bylaws, the laws of the companies that govern how the company, sometimes it's called also article of association. This is a major issue if you want to change the bylaws and the merger. Definitely B will be the right answer. This is a small decision, does not require 2/3 of the company. Question number 5 is, which of the following statements regarding stakeholder management is most accurate? Company management ensure compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. This is compliance issue. It is not to do with stakeholder management. This is compliance with laws and regulations. It has nothing to do with managing the conflict between different stakeholders. Directors are excluded from voting on transactions in which they hold material interests. Now, if a director is part of a transaction that is the company is going to enter into with a third party, and the director has interest in that third party, so there is a conflict of interest here between his interest in that company as owner and in his duty as a director here. So he should be excluding when we are voting. He should not vote because this represents stakeholder management. The use of variable incentive, this is between management and executive remuneration, is decreasing. So definitely B is the right answer. Question number 6. Which of the following represent the responsibility of the company's board of directors? Implementation of strategy? No. Implementation of strategy is the responsibility of management. The board actually set the strategy. Management has to implement these strategies. Enterprise risk management. Yes, this is the risk of the whole company. It is the responsibility of the board director, cannot be left to management. Management might manipulate that. Considering the interests of shareholders only? No, definitely. Corporate governance is about considering the interests of all stakeholders, not only shareholders. Definitely B looks the right answer. Question number 7. Which of the following statement about non-market factor, not the market one, is corporate governance is most accurate? In corporate governance is most accurate. The word most is very important here because there might be some accuracy in some statement, but which one of them is the most accurate? A stakeholder can spread information quickly and shape public opinion. This is the fairest answer. Don't forget, we are talking about non-market factor. So stakeholder outside the company can spread information quickly and shape the public opinion. Let us see B. A civil law system offers better protection of shareholder interests than does a common law system. This is has nothing to do with the market. It has to do with the legal. Vendor providing corporate governance service have limited influence on corporate governance. They have limited access to they just participate in forming that corporate governance. Definitely, as I mentioned, A is the right answer. 8. Which of the following statements regarding corporate shareholders is most accurate? Again, the word most accurate is here. We are talking about corporate shareholders. Following statement regarding corporate shareholders is most accurate. Cross-shareholding help promote corporate mergers. This is something has nothing to do with corporate shareholders. Dual class structure are used to align economic ownership with control. This topic, you will understand it most if you go through the topic itself, but bearing in mind that we are trying to manage the conflict between different stakeholders. So affiliated shareholder can protect the company against hostile takeover bids. Yes, if shareholders are affiliating together, they will come together and vote against the hostile takeover. It seems that C is the most accurate, although the other is also acceptable answer. 9. A primary responsibility of board audit committee does not. It is not about what is their responsibility. What is not their responsibility? The word not is very important. Be careful when answering such question. Proper application of accounting policy. Definitely the audit committee does not apply the policies. They might set certain policy, but they don't apply it. Management on the ground, they apply it. Adoption of proper corporate governance. Here in this one, there is the word application and setting. They are both the responsibility of audit committee. They decide which policy to follow and ensure that they application it. Adoption of corporate governance. No, there is a separate committee for corporate governance. It is not part of the audit committee. This is the right answer, B. Number 10. Which of the following is true of shareholder activism? These are the people who come together. They are trying to take control of the company or to direct the company in a certain way, to behave in a certain way. Definitely their primary role will be shareholder activity. Rarely include hedge fund. No, they are the main one. The hedge funds, they are very active shareholder. Regulator play a prominent role in shareholder activism. No, regulator has nothing to do. These shareholders, they come together, form a committee, they meet and they decide what to do. So regulator has nothing to do with this. They are independent always, regulator from the shareholder. A primary goal of shareholder to increase shareholder value. Yes, because these people believe management is not going in the right direction. They come together and they will be very active, that their voice to be heard, and their role is to, or their goal is to increase the value of the company. Definitely the answer is C. The last question, question number 11 will be, which of the following is not benefit is not, again, the word not is important. So that means there will be some benefit mentioned, but one of them is not a benefit of a very good and effective corporate governance structure. Operating performance can be improved. Yes, it can be improved if you have a very good corporate governance. A corporation cost of debt can be reduced. Definitely, this is crucial. Please never forget this. Corporate governance, number one benefit, in my opinion, it will reduce the cost of debt because the lender knows that it is a very strong company. I will be willing to give them money at a very lower cost. See, corporate decision and activities require less control. No, if you have a very good corporate governance, does not mean that we neglect the control and have less. This is not a benefit of that. I think with this we come to the end of the video, or the topic of corporate governance. In the video number 4, we will look to the next level of topic, capital budgeting, net present value. What is meant by capital budgeting is actually where to invest, which asset we should buy, whether to buy an existing company or not, whether to go with merger and acquisition or not. It is all about buying asset, which means investment. So how do we budget for investment? How do we consider investment and project? How do we evaluate them, whether these are good or not a good investment? This will be in the video number 4. Please do not forget to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I publish a new video.